Hey guys, Brett here, connecting from UbiCentral, and today Ubisoft released the first trailer for Far Cry 5, which will be releasing on February 27th, 2018 on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Now, I have to say, I'm really happy about this release date. Ubisoft could have easily released it during the holidays to potentially make more money, but they pushed it back until late February, which shows they want to spend the extra time on this game, and hopefully that shows when the final product is released. But anyways, I'm going to be breaking down this trailer, which means talking over it. So if you want to see the raw, unedited version of this trailer, I will have a link in the description down below. But without further ado, let's get started. Right off the bat, I had to point out the text saying this trailer was made from game engine footage, meaning what you see now will give you a good idea of how the game will look at release. I know some people are already commenting, downgrade incoming, just stop. We've seen with Ubisoft's recent titles such as For Honor and Watch Dogs 2, the gameplay that they originally showed off for both of those titles looked exactly the same, if not better, when the game released. You can say I'm a fanboy, but just watch, when the game releases, it will look like this, or even better. But back to the trailer, I'm going to skip through these opening scenes for now because we actually see them later on.
We must atone!
Something is coming. You can feel it, can't you?
So I'm going to stop it here because I just have to point out the level of detail in this specific shot. Right here you can see a very worn out private property sign with bullet holes in it. I don't know how that happened, but in the distance you can also see sprinklers, and then there's also a tractor. Now, I know this isn't groundbreaking, but for me, smaller details like this really make a game, and I'm just happy to see it.
You can feel that we are creeping towards the edge.
And speaking about smaller details, here we can see two cows, and this one specifically has a tag on it, and it's eating grass. Do I really need to say more? Here we can see a baseball field, and one thing that's worth pointing out is this sign promoting Classic Slam, a rock radio station. So this confirms radio stations will be in the game. Obviously, this was to be expected, but here's our first piece of evidence.
I know that you were out there.
Here's one of our first shots of the enemies in this game, and we're going to be seeing their logo a lot throughout this trailer. And just like in previous Far Cry games, they drive around in trucks with machine guns, so there's nothing new there. Also, here is a deer warning sign, but we'll be talking about them soon.
And I know that you were in pain.
Here we have a water tower, but don't worry, it doesn't look like we can climb it, so they won't be replacing the fan favorite radio towers. Please know that was a joke. But anyways, as I'm sure you guys know, the game takes place in Hope County, but I believe Falls End will most likely be the name of the city. This dog is amazing, and I'm really glad to see that there's new animals in this game that we've never really seen in the franchise. Here you can see the Falls End General Store, which again leads me to believe that this is going to be the name of the city. The subtext reads fishing, groceries, and hunting, so I think it's safe to assume that we can fish, buy groceries, and hunt in this game. But I'm really curious to see how the fishing system will work. It seems like you can buy worms at the grocery store, and then once you catch something, you can maybe eat it, sell it, or skin it. We'll just have to wait and see.
My children, I'm here to tell you that suffering.
Here's a look at Nick, one of the allies in the game, and if you watch his character trailer, I think it's a pretty safe bet that he's a mechanic or engineer, and I wouldn't be surprised if he helps you with finding specific vehicles, delivering them, or even fixing them for you. But I really hope there's a mission where you can fly his plane because it's just badass.
It's a choice, and you can choose a better path.
In the very next shot, we can see a store that does oil changes and wheel alignment, and this is most likely where Nick works, and I'm hoping it also means car customization will be in the game to some extent. Please, Ubisoft. Again, I really think fishing will be in the game. There's just no point in showing this if it wasn't. I also think this is our main character, and I'll talk about that in a second.
We want you.
Hey, remember that deer sign from earlier? Well, here's an elk about to get shot, so that's nice. But yeah, this definitely confirms hunting, which isn't a surprise because, well, it's Far Cry. But anyways, here's a look at our main character again, and yes, you heard me right. I believe we'll be able to choose if we want to be a male or a female in this game. If you notice, in this entire trailer, we don't really see a main character or hear about one. With Far Cry 3, we had Jason, and with Far Cry 4, we had AJ or Ajay, whichever you prefer. But I think Far Cry 5 is taking a Wildlands approach where we select what our main character will look like. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because it's never been done in the franchise, and I personally prefer when they write for one specific character and they have an actual name, but again, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Accept you.
Now, I originally thought this was the main villain, but then I looked at the Far Cry 5 box art, and I'm leaning more towards this guy. His outfit looks somewhat similar, and we see the main villain at the end of the trailer, so I just don't think it's him. But I could still be wrong. Regardless, I love his outfit.
And we will take you.
Here we have our first look at Pastor Jerome in this scene, and I'm assuming he was probably teaching some of these citizens that this cult is bad news and just stay away from them. But now they're showing up at the church, threatening him to read their version of the Bible or something like that.
Willingly or not.
The next few scenes in the trailer appear to be people who went against the cult or didn't support them, so now they're being punished or in some cases being forced to join them. I honestly think this story is really interesting and definitely has potential. As long as Ubisoft goes all out on this, I can really see it being one of the best stories in any Ubisoft game. Here we have a few more shots of Hope County, and I wonder how big this map will be. There's definitely a lot of wilderness, but I wonder how big the city will be and things like that. Not only do we get another fishing scene, but this time we see a helicopter flying by. We already knew planes were going to be in the game, however this is the first time we've seen a helicopter. For a brief second, we can see the cults arrive at Mary's bar, and I think they're going to regret that. If this doesn't scream Murica to you, something is seriously wrong. Okay, I know we don't know that much about Pastor Jerome, but holy shit, he's a badass. Look at the amount of blood behind him, and he still looks pissed off. And here's the part where you regret going after Mary. Guys, Optimus Prime is in this game. No, but seriously, there's gonna be so many different vehicles. I'm excited, I'm hyped. I hope this is a camera angle and not just for the trailer. I mean, it's not the greatest, but just having options is always nice. Here we can see an ATV with 2 people on it, and this might mean co-op is in the game, and I definitely hope so. Also, there's 2 of the same NPCs. Hopefully that's not in the final game. So here's Nick flying his plane. I know I said this earlier, but I really hope we get to fly it. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to because, again, why would they even put this in the trailer if we couldn't fly it?
The end is upon us!
This is pretty interesting because we're in the passenger seat, but there's also a rabbit on the dash. So there's that. And then there's this guy.
I shall lead you to the gate! For you are my children and I am your father!
And last but not least, we have the main villain of the game, Joseph Seed, aka the Father. I'm kind of glad they didn't show too much of him. I mean, this is only the first trailer and it's 2 minutes, so I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of him and Far Cry 5 before the game releases. But anyways, that brings us to the end of the video. Let me know what you thought of the trailer in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.